Okay, okay, okay. We got it going. Let's see. Making sure that we are able to be seen over on the Instagram. All right, there we go. Okay. So tonight, I am going to talk about the real estate process, what you need to look for before you invest in real estate. So good evening. I am going to get this done. I'm streaming on a couple different screens. So if I'm looking, bear with me. I'm getting it done. I just want to make sure that everybody is able to see. And tonight I'm just going to casually talk about some of the things that you should be looking for when you're investing in your first real estate property because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, I should be investing in real estate. I need to invest in real estate. But because I am so, I don't really know what to expect, I feel like I'm like at a loss, right? And that's not the case. You can definitely still do this. You just need to make sure that you put yourself in the the best position. So I'm gonna, if you bear with me, I'm just gonna get on to the live stream so that I can see everybody's comments and be able to go from there. So let me know. I'm Jasmine for those that don't know me. I have been in real estate for over 13 years. And in addition to being in real estate, I have created a coaching program for women who specifically want to invest in their first rental property. So, with me doing that, I have encountered some amazing women. And in addition to encountering those women, I have developed a system to be able to get them into their first investment property within 90 days. So, with doing that, we have seen it all. We've seen, situations in investments kind of take a turn. We've seen deals fall apart, all of the things. And so I try my best to make sure that you all are equipped with what needs to happen in order for you to be successful in real estate investing and even more so be to the point that you're able to grow your portfolio to $1 million and beyond. So let me know that you guys can hear me for sure. Drop in the chat and let me know that you guys are here. Drop your favorite emoji so that I know that you guys are present over on Facebook. Let me know because tonight we're going to talk about what you need to be thinking about before you actually get this done, right? So a lot of us are trying to get this stuff done, and we're like, Jasmine, I haven't made a move because I feel the fear. I feel scared. I feel there's all types of things. Tell me some ways or things that you're thinking and the ways that you feel when you're thinking about getting this done. Let me know because again, if you don't, a lot of us don't make a move because we feel scared, and because we feel scared we're like yeah, this ain't gonna work for me for whatever reason that we kind of tell each other or tell ourselves, right? So hold on, I'm just making sure you guys are there. What are some things that I'm fearful? I just need the capital. I'm not fearful, I just need the capital to start. I love that, right? What's some other things, and what's your plan to actually get the capital? Hmm. Let me know. Again, it's really, really important for you to be able to have a plan because we don't want to stay in the same position for the whole time. We really want to get out of our position. And so with doing that, we need to go ahead and have a plan. One of the things that I've been seeing a lot of our students do is get grants. So let me share. Let me see if I can find the link real fast. Share kind of what those grants could look like and what you all can do in order to be able to put yourself in position to get the grants, right? So there aren't many grants for new investors per se, but there could be grants for business startups. So Hold on a second. So if you look, let me see if I could share my screen. Hold on, let me see if it's gonna let me. Okay, yep. So if you look right here, these are 650 grants that you can go through and look depending on what your specifications are. You could be looking at women grants, grants that are felon friendly, grants that are for people that have been through domestic violence. um, these are grants based on the month, and these are grants based on the state. So there's always availability of grants, even grants for veterans, beauty for professionals, and folks like that. You just have to be willing to go ahead and put in the work to go ahead and get it done. Right. So a lot of times grants are awesome, but you have to go ahead and put together that grant list. So if you message me, unfortunately, I can't see who is talking to me. The names just say like Facebook user. You have to give permission to share it. But if you message me on Facebook or Instagram, then I can go ahead and share with you the grant list. I won't be able to share with you the grant list because it's in our program, but I can share with you a toolkit that you can purchase that has the grant list in there. All right. So when we're thinking about purchasing that first real estate deal, we need to kind of think about some things first. So we need to figure out what kind of real estate type we're going to purchase. Most of us are thinking that we're going to do real estate, but then we don't know specifically what kind of real estate we want to purchase. So let me know, what are some of the real estate types that you all want to purchase. Um, it could be anything. It could be commercial property. It could be single family. It could be duplexes. It could be anything. But you want to go ahead and get that purchase because, or get specified down, because now when you get someone to help you, you can go ahead and zero in to say, hey, I'm ready to go ahead and get this done. Specifically, what I want to purchase in order for it to make sense. And so I really do recommend. Let me put up my little method up here. Excuse me. If you are thinking about doing this, going ahead and putting together specifically what kind of real estate investor you want to be is essential from the start. You don't want to just say, if somebody asks you, well, how can I help you buy a piece of real estate? You don't want to just say, like, I don't know the area. I don't know if I want to actually, like what kind of property I want. I just want something that makes money, because that's too general. And a lot of times what happens is that people can't help you because they don't know what you're looking for, what kind of return you're looking for. And then it just becomes something that you can't get done. So whenever I'm looking at a property, or whenever I am helping you all try to decipher, I go through this Sparkle framework, right? So I decide on what kind of strategy you all want to do. If you want to do a long-term strategy, a short-term strategy, a mid-term strategy, a value add, or even purchasing a turnkey property, that could be a strategy. And then I'm going to ask you, well, what kind of property type? Do you want to purchase a duplex or a single family or a commercial property? What do you want? What specifically do you want to purchase? And then the next question I'm going to ask is area. A lot of people don't realize that you can circle down on an area, and that makes your search a lot more tangible, because now you're able to say, okay, I am purchasing this property in these specific areas, and someone is able to help you a lot easier, versus you're like, I just want to be somewhere in the city wherever it makes money. Like, that's not a strategy, right? And so doing that allows you to be able to have some strategy behind what you're looking for. The next thing is the range, right? So you want to be able to determine how much you want to spend on that property, and how you do that is get pre-approved. The next thing is the kind of renovation. So it could be a cosmetic, a heavy gut renovation, or even just something that is turnkey. But again, you have to be specific because someone will send you a bunch of properties that need a lot of work, and you're like, I don't have the capacity to get that work done. I need something that's a little more cosmetic, that's just small fixes. And then you want to talk about your target or level of return, right? So, what does that return look like? How much money do you need in order for you to be able to purchase this property? But how much do you want to invest in order for it to be a feasible investment? That is really important because most of us think, okay, well, I want to get a minimum of X amount of dollars. And for what your investment or your initial investment is, it may not be feasible. So typically, I'm asking people to invest anywhere between twenty to $25,000 into their project. That return can usually yield you in the Philadelphia area about seven to $900 on cash flow. So it's important that you know your numbers in order for you to make this happen and what you want. And then the last thing is your exit strategy, right? So the exit strategy needs to be something that is very tangible to know. Once I go ahead and get into this property, I am going to be able to get out of the property simply by having X exit strategy. And this allows you to know, like, okay, I'm going to refi out of the property. I'm going to sell the property, whatever it looks like. You need to have an exit strategy so that now your lender, your realtor, your everybody knows what you're going to be able to do with the property in order for it to make sense. Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Does that make sense, or am I just talking? Let me know. Because again, being very specific with your search is going to be very much so more beneficial than just being out here. Right? It's so important for you to do that. So then the next thing is, I'm looking on my notes, risk and reward, right? So that risk, the risk that a lot of us are sometimes afraid to take, what does that risk look like, and what is the reward on the other side of it, right? When you're thinking about purchasing an investment property, you want to know, like, if I'm investing X amount of dollars, what is the reward of me being to able actually being able to invest this money? What am I going to actually be able to see in order for me to be able to get what I'm looking for when it comes to investing in real estate, right? And so if you think about it, if you're putting out $20,000 and you are able to get, say, let's just say on a low end, $500 in cash flow after you pay all of the mortgage, the taxes, and the insurance, how valuable would that be to your life, right? What reward would that, what bill would that replace, right? So for most of us, our car notes are about $500. So if we can replace just having our car note taken care of, how valuable would that be? Right. And so then that's how you have to look at it. Real estate is a long-term game, and my suggestion is that you have multiple real estate investments in order for you to be able to see the return. That's so important. You can't just have one property. One property is not going to get you like really what you want or what you need. You really need to have multiple. But in order for you to get multiple properties, you have to have a system on how you're going to be able to obtain that. So we go through that process, a 90-day process of going ahead and putting out there, this is what I'm setting up in order for me to be able to get into my real estate investment. In addition to me being able to get into this real estate investment, now I'm able to go ahead and have a system on how I'm able to obtain a property every 6 months to build up my portfolio so that I can, whatever the end game is, retire, add to my current income, make work optional, put my kids through college, whatever that is. You just have to go ahead and develop that plan in order to make it work. Everybody good? All right. So the next thing is really going through and figuring out what what that strategy is going to look like, right? So we've talked about like what that looks like, what you need to be looking for, whether it's a property that is a turnkey property or a property that needs some love. So now you have to put together a strategy. Anybody put strategy in the chat if you all want me to break down a strategy for you to be able to go ahead and invest in that first property. Drop it in the chat for me, and let me know if I should go ahead and share this, right? And again, for those that are joining on Instagram and in my Facebook communities, I am glad to see you all tonight. I just presented in another community, so I am a little like loopy all over the place, but I am excited to see you all. I'm grateful for you all joining me, because again, this is what I do. This is like literally what I do all day. So try to figure out strategies and help implement strategies for women like across all of my communities. And tonight I had the opportunity to talk to a community of nurses, and that was awesome because nurses specifically, and we have a lot of nurses in our program, but nurses specifically have the income to be able to invest. They just don't have the maybe the education around investing, and they may not have the time. And so we try to go ahead and combat that by just going ahead and saying, okay, here's the strategy. This is the time that you need to commit to implementing this strategy. If you can do that, then we can help you. And then we go ahead and get it together. So let me know over on Instagram strategy. Yay. Okay. So one thing over one thing that you want to do when you're doing this is putting together the strategy is going to come down to you, right? So most of us are trying to go ahead and put together a strategy of things that we hear off of the social media streets. And I'm coming to you on social media, so there's nothing against that, but it's not specific, right? Most of us are not specific on our strategy. And then we're like, oh, it doesn't work, right? Or it's just, this doesn't work for me. But it's not specifically tailored to what you are. So when you're thinking about how to become a real estate investor, you need to look at yourself first, right? So you need to look at your financial background, what your money plan looks like, what you have already in order for you to create a plan. There's nothing like creating a plan and not knowing where you're coming from. So if you're experiencing that you don't have a ton of savings, you don't have a ton of money to invest, you don't have the right credit or things like that. And credit, by the way, is not a huge factor with investing in real estate. The biggest factor is your know-how and your knowledge to go ahead and push the button so that it can work for you. But if you're feeling that way, like, oh, I can't do it because my credit is this or that, you have to face all of those things up front in order for it to make sense and for you to be able to execute on it. So the worst thing that you can do is say, well, I want to invest in real estate, but I haven't talked to anybody about actually how to go about it, right? Investing in real estate, what I can say is that the action is where you learn the most, right? So most of us don't take action. And then because we're not taking action, then we are like, we feel like we're in a maze, right? Or in a matrix of like not doing anything. Anybody ever feel that way? Makes perfect sense. Hey, Tiff, how are you all? I'm trying to go through two screens to make sure that I'm saying hi to everybody. But again, it's so important that we go ahead and just decide that this is what we're going to do, right? And so if real estate investing is something that you're serious about, then you have to go through and make sure that it's going to make sense for you. So let me share with you all a quick strategy. This is a strategy that I've actually been going over. And it doesn't mean that this is for everybody. It doesn't mean that that yourself is can do this strategy. It just gives you something, a general idea of how to grow your wealth, because that's what it's all about these days, right? So let me share my screen yet again. Okay. All right. So, what I suggest that you do is that you purchase one property for in and around about $75,000. That property should need some cosmetic renovation. In fact, we just closed on a client last, when did she close? Last Tuesday, and this literally down down to the numbers of what the renovations were. She closed on the property. Actually, she bought it for $70,000. The property appraised at 140. So let me put this in present. So she bought the property, um, and what we did was we made sure that the after repair value of the property was 65%, and the market value of the property was 5%, over 5%. So that means that the properties are appreciating in value every year at 5%. She renovated the property, or she's going through, she just closed, so she's starting the renovation property process. And then she's going through and she's going to rent the property out Section 8. the next thing is to go ahead and refinance the property to a lower interest rate, and then put half of the rent into a simple index fund, right? So for those that don't know what simple index funds are just conglomerates of like some of the major companies in America that come together, and only the top companies are in the fund. You are almost it's been a historic guarantee that you've been able to get at least at minimum 10% a year on that real estate investment, or on that investment. And so with you being able to do that, then you're able to go ahead and see a return. And then while you're doing that, the tenant is paying down the debt. So the tenant pays the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, and you're putting about 5% into reserves. And then all you're going to do is do this twice a year, right? So you're going to, 5 years later, you're going to do that twice a year for 5 years. At that time, you'll have 10 properties. You'll sell two properties a year, and then you'll buy two properties a year. And doing this within the same neighborhood is going to be essential, because now with you doing that, you'll be able to say, okay, I now have these two properties. I know what the rents are in the area. I have a pool of tenants that know that I buy in this area, and I'm able to easily get this done. And then you're going to repeat the process, and every year you should be able to sell the two properties at $100,000 profit, be able to return those profits into a portion of those profits into the next property, and keep doing it over and over again. And this is how people retire. So they typically sell at the 5 year mark and be able to have that cash flow. So you should be making anywhere between, I'll say, let's see, about $5,000 a month on rental income. And if that's not enough, then we need to go ahead and increase the strategy. But this is a basic strategy for those that want to be able to, become millionaires within 5 years. Does that make sense? Let me know. Hold on, let me get back to my screen. So let me know, does that make sense what I just explained? Let me know. Hold on. Let me just, I want to make sure. Hey, Instagram. Okay, there you go. So does that make sense, Instagram? Let me know. Because again, a strategy is it's easy to follow, but it's only as good as the strategy that you actually follow. So I could talk to I'm blue in the face, um, and until you actually implement it, it means nothing, right? And so you have to go ahead and take the steps. And one of the things over on Instagram, which I would suggest that you do, is you go ahead and you comment the word I'm sorry, blueprint, to get onto my calendar. I'm only open up my calendar on Thursday and Friday of this week, so that we can talk about a specific strategy for you, right? Because real estate is very personal. It's not just something that's general. I can't tell someone that I've never talked to, I don't know what their taxes look like, what their income is, what their savings is. I can't tell any of you all what that's going to look like if I don't know specifically where you are. So during that blueprint call, I'm going to ask some very specific questions. And then from there, we'll be able to develop a plan, whether it be that our team can help you, or it could be that you could go ahead and implement some things on your own. So when you get a chance, go ahead and um, comment the word blueprint. So getting back to the strategy, if the strategy makes sense, I'm getting a couple yeses over on Instagram, Facebook. Tell me if that makes sense. Tell me if this makes sense over on Instagram, on Facebook. Let me know. Ugh, I'm late. Who's that? On Facebook, I can't. I literally, all it says is Facebook user. So I don't know who it is. It could be my grandmother. God bless her soul. But I wouldn't know, because you guys have to you have to give permission to show your name. All right. So let's talk about market trends, right? So a lot of times, anybody have an area of the city that they like more, or not even Philadelphia, even outside of Philly? Is there any area that you all want to invest in, that you want to see, like if it's worth it still? Let me know. Let me show you all really quickly how to identify areas to be able to invest in. Yep. So let me show you all. So in Philadelphia, I see we have a ton of realtors on. Definitely realtors. Malik and I actually just did a training on Monday night to show you all where you should be looking, what the hot areas are. It's no secret, right? There's no secret on the hot areas. The secret is for you all to be able to do the research, right? So you're going to look at what they call the opportunity zones. These opportunity zones are available all across our nation. So in Philadelphia, Miami, Colorado, Texas, every major city has opportunity zones. The reason why this is important is that you'll be able to see the federal money is going to be put out at. If you see these blue areas, especially in Philadelphia, specifically in Philadelphia, this is going to tell you exactly where the development is about to happen. This you need to invest at, right? And the reason why that's important is because we shouldn't be all over the globe on what our investment strategy looks like. We need to be very specific on the areas that are about to get federal funding for us to be able to know that we can go ahead and invest in these areas. This helps tremendously so that you're not all over the globe when it comes to real estate investing, and it helps you make sense of the whole situation. Investing in real estate is not hard. The clues are out there. You just have to go ahead and implement and be able to say, okay, I now have I now have and know what it takes to go ahead and get invested. I know the areas that are going to see the dollars. Now, all I need to be able to do is implement and buy in those areas. And even on this website, it shows you the highlighted areas on specifically where to look, right? So, hold on, I'm trying to my little website, my little internet is acting up on me today. So if you look on some of the highlighted areas, Adams Avenue is about to get tons of dollars. Broad and Erie is getting a tremendous amount of money. Delaware Avenue, you all know all of that stuff is going on down there. Grace Ferry, you guys can see what is going on there. But specifically in the North Philadelphia area, it's getting a ton of money. And the reason why you need to pay attention is because a lot of us live in these areas. And so when your grandmother is thinking about selling and pop up is like, yep, we moving, you need to be able to have and be a power to buy those properties in these areas that is about to get these federal dollars, because the big developers are coming in the area, which is going to automatically increase property value. And that's what we want. We want to be able to increase our property value exponentially. And this is the way to do it. Does this make sense? Make sense over here on Instagram? Let me know. Okay. Thank you. Hey, Faith, how are you? Oh, you know what? I meant to shoot a DM when you get a chance, Faith, because you asked the question. When I went back on over the transcript, you asked the question, and I could show you a little demo of how you can get leads into your lead business. Faith has a lead business that helps landlords be able to get their properties. Tested, because it's a requirement in the city of Philadelphia. And so, Charlene, yes, remember to inbox me. Okay, so make sense? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I do apologize, and I was not able to widen my screen, but I promise you that I will, if you inbox me, I'll send you some information on how to access that information. I'm on a app, so it's like I'm trying to do a bunch of things at the same time. I do apologize. All right, so we have the action plan. We kind of know what areas now, and especially in Philadelphia, but that's anywhere. So if you're checking in from, Miami, just put in Miami opportunity zones, and you'll be able to go ahead and see specifically what's happening in those areas or in any area, so that you could go ahead and get your strategy for investing in real estate. The last thing that I want to leave you with is For sure, making sure that you are getting into the habit of implementation, right? I talk about this a lot because a lot of people just kind of sit on their laurels. They like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. I can't. I don't. This doesn't make sense. All of the things we tried. I over explain. Anybody that knows that I've been in any of my trainings, any of my webinars, any of my challenges, or even just students of mine, and I'm sure they're over on Instagram. They know that I am specifically telling you the steps to take. There's no gatekeeping, right? There's no secrets. That website that I was on, you can just Google it because I can't share the maybe I can share a link. You can also just Google Philadelphia opportunity zones or your city opportunity zones. That will allow you to um, be able to show you exactly where you should be investing. But all of this information means nothing if you just look at it. You have to go ahead and implement, and you have to really realize what's holding you back. Because in a lot of cases, what's holding us back is something so small that we could go ahead and the get the assistance to be able to get out of that little small thing, to be able to get to the big thing, but we don't take the steps. It's so important that we go ahead and implement, because again, this information, I can sit here and share with you resources all night, but if you just take the resources and sleep on them and then come back to me in a year and you haven't done anything, then my time was wasted and so was yours, right? So taking your time and going through and implementing and looking at what is happening in your city, wherever you're at, or just saying, okay, I am committed to actually getting this done this year is what it's all about. All right, so I am almost done. Any questions for me this evening? Was this valuable? Did this make sense? Is this something that you can implement? If it is, and if you want me to work with you, to be able to get you into a real estate investment property within the next 90 days, just drop the word blueprint or inbox me, or DM me the word blueprint, and I will send you a link to my calendar so that you all can go ahead and be able to, we can talk through your specific situation to see if it makes sense to be able to get it done. Any questions while I am on both screens? I am here. Let me know if there's any questions. No questions. There's like 40 people globally. 40 people and no questions. Y'all sure? All right. All right. Don't say, oh, nobody wants to help me invest in real estate. Everybody is just telling me some generic strategy, blah, 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 because I'm here to help and I'm dedicating my time. I could be chilling. I worked all day long. I really want to go to sleep, but I am dedicated to come live to you all for the next, well, now 3 days. And so let me know. I don't know everything, but I know a lot. And I will definitely answer your questions. Hey, hey, Lashida. Okay, I see your blueprint, so I'll definitely make sure you get that link. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all so much. If there's any questions or any service and you're just like you shy and you don't want to ask them on live, I get it. Go ahead and shoot me an inbox. Until tomorrow, we will meet again. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what that ideal investment type is, to the what that ideal investment looks like for you. So sometimes you are looking at investments and you have an idea of what you want to do, but I'm going to talk about some investment types that I've made, to be able to get it done. And that is what we're going to discuss tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So I'll meet you all here. That website, I can't, honey, I just told you, I don't know who it is, but you could just Google Philadelphia Opportunity Zones. It's going to come right up for you. All right. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow night.